Hello there. Welcome back to Grandma Ray Don't Play, and I'm Rachel. So I want to talk to you about the proposal for the upcoming stimulus, the possible proposal that's on the table. So one proposal is to give you a one-time $2,000 payment on a card, whether it's a debit card, PayPal, some kind of card like that, and then after that $1,000 a month. What do you think about that? Okay, and then the other proposal is to pay for your primary residence rent or mortgage. Let's talk about that. And the reason why I want to talk about these two proposals, I can see some good and bad in both. So let's talk about the rent first, okay, or the mortgage payment first. So I don't feel like that would be equal to everyone, and I'll tell you why. There are some people who pay very large mortgage payments, right? It could be in the thousands. And then other people who pay a lot less. Different states, the rents and mortgages would be different because the cost of living is different. In addition to that, some people don't pay rent or mortgage at all. What about people who are homeless or people who live with other people? So what does that mean for them? They're not going to get any payment at all? So I see a problem with that proposal because it doesn't represent everyone. Okay, and then also I understand that the landlord has to agree if the government gives him some assistance for the rent that you would have paid him or the mortgage company, that he has to agree that he can't raise the rent for 5 years. What if the landlord don't agree to that? You know, because he has his bottom line, right? So let's say he needs a roof repair, and it's 1 year after the fact of taking this assistance from the government, which was your portion of the rent or your rent total. You know, he has no recourse, and I don't even know if he could even sell the house within those 5 years. So it puts a lot of restrictions on the landlord, right, or the mortgage company. Now what about you? Does that mean that you're locked in too for 5 years? What if after this infection that's going nationwide, that you no longer can afford to stay there for whatever reason, even though the government may be paying your portion of the rent, maybe overall with your other bills you still can't afford to stay there. Does that lock you in? And if it does and you move, does your help from the government paying your mortgage or rent follows you to the next place? These are things that I don't think is going to happen. I don't think it's going to follow you to the next place. I think it might lock you in, and I think if you try to move, that you may in fact lose out altogether and then your assistance stop. So I see a lot of loopholes with that. And if a person doesn't pay rent or mortgage, what benefit do they get? What relief do they get? You know, could the government now take the portion that the person who don't have a rent or mortgage, could the government now assist them in getting housing? Now that would be a plus. I thought about that. You know, why can't their portion go towards the first, last, and security down payment for an apartment or something, and then the government continue that for the 5 years? Now, did they think about that? No, but I did. I think that that would be a good idea. So that would clean out everybody that's in a homeless shelter. Everybody would be able to get housing and secure themselves for 5 years. So I think that they should look at that. if they're going to go the route of paying the rent or mortgage, because now you're addressing everyone's needs. Okay? All right. So another thing I thought about is this is supposed to go towards anybody that is over 16. So are you gonna also support the 16, 17, and 18-year older? If they don't have any rent or anything like that, what are you gonna do for them? Are you gonna give them some kind of subsidy? Are you gonna give it to their parents, or what are you gonna do with their portion? So for that reason, I think the proposal to pay the mortgage or the rent is not a good one. Also, what happens if they have a cap on that? What if they say, okay, we're not going over $2,000 a month? What happens to somebody who has a mortgage just $3,000 a month? What happens to that difference? Are they supposed to pay that during this epidemic? Something to think about, right? Okay, so now let's talk about the proposal to give you a one payment of $2,000 on a card, some kind of card, debit card, bank account card, PayPal, whatever card they come up with, okay? And then after that, $1,000 a month. What do you think about that? You know, would that be sufficient? And what if you go to work? Does that get cut off, or does that continue? Or they said that it will continue for 1 year until this epidemic ends, or until unemployment reached 60%. Well, that sounds like the best solution to me. I would welcome that solution, only because at least you can figure out what you want to do for you. So let's say you decide, okay, after taking a real hard look at things, you said, okay, you know what, I've been living above my means. I no longer can afford this place, or I can't afford this mortgage, and I'm gonna either sell my house and get my living expenses under control, or I'm gonna move out of this place and so I can get to an affordable place. Maybe you decide that you're gonna move from where you're at to another place or another state, right? That's cheaper. Because I think we all now are going to take a hard look at our expenses, and I'm going to talk to you about that in another video. So staying on topic on this video, I think the $1,000 a week would solve the problem. That will do a lot of things. So people who are getting paid minimum wage, that would level up the playing. People who needed some assistance all along but couldn't get it because they may have been over money-wise, because they made a few dollars too many to qualify for any type of assistance, that would help. Now they can have the assistance, and so people can now make changes in their life and move forward with some guaranteed, I can depend on help, that $1,000 a week. Okay, so what would you do with the initial $2,000 a week? Would you catch up on your bills? Would you save it? Would you really decide that I'm gonna straighten out my finances? You know, maybe your credit card is behind, or car note is behind, you know, other factors. What would you do with it? And is that enough? Is that enough? Is the $2,000 down, one time down payment enough, and $1,000 a week? Is that enough? And you know, to my surprise, I never thought that none of this would even happen in America. So they really surprised me. So it goes to show you, they could have been helping us all along. All along they could have printed out this money to help us. Why did it take this to help us? And let's talk about the middle class versus the poor, or the people who are getting a lot less income. Let's talk about that. So originally, before this, the middle class, you know, they were above people who had less money, and so they were doing fine and paying the car notes, the mortgages, they was going on trips, they was just having a ball because they were able to do this because they had sufficient amount of income. But once everybody had to stay home and couldn't go to work, all of a sudden the level playing got leveled off. We're all on the same level, okay? And that was lack of the ability to pay your bills. Same level, okay? And so now we all should look at this as we're all one. And it doesn't matter whether your income is up here or down here. At any time, that could all go away. So that brings us back to the point that we are all one. And so with that in mind, let's just remember this moving forward. Moving forward, we need to respect each other on the same level plane. We need to not spend above our means. Make your means a lot lower, so that when something like this happens, you can weather the storm, because maybe by making your means lower, you would have saved some money in the bank for the rainy day. A lot of people got caught off guard. They had no savings, no backup plan, and so when the job ended, all their finances ended. And yes, we are all, including me, we all were 100% worried, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning we didn't know what was up, okay? So those are my thoughts on everything. You let me know in your comments, please, whether you want to receive the money, which is $2,000 down on a card and then $1,000 a month, or do you want them to pay your rent or mortgage? Let me know, please, because when you let me know, then others are reading your comment and it's letting them know what we would like as citizens, okay? All right, so give it a thumbs up if you like it. Share the video. And remember, take one day at a time. Spend your money a lot less. Think about what you're going to spend your money on before you spend it. And remember, don't lose your head over this, because we're going to get through this some kind of way. And when we get through this, I want to be able to talk to you, the same person I was talking to a couple of months ago, with a better feeling about life. Okay? All right, so I'll talk to you soon. You just got the word of the day on that, okay? $2,000 down, $1,000 a month, or your rent or mortgage payment. Which one would you like? Okay? And talk to your landlord, please. Ask them which would they prefer. And let's see what they say. And report back to me, okay? All right. Love you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.